Welcome to Conspiracy Cast, Tales of Earthers. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is a very special episode. We actually are filming it on our old set that we used to use all the time, so that you can see our new shirts, Gary.
Yes. Well, I don't want to move my mic, so you can see it. It's what he's wearing.
All right. I love the Illuminati. It's our first Tales of Earth shirt to celebrate the Conspiracy Cast.
Yep.
The link to that will be down below. But if you want to watch this filmed live, we do it every Monday at about 2 p.m. Eastern. We go live, we talk about conspiracies. But today, we are doing a special episode. A friend of ours in the YouTube space, known as Sal from Comic Pop, talks about comic books, does discussions. He was in town, and we thought it'd be fun to film an episode with him on it.
Thanks. Yeah.
Plus, in order for us to show you our black t-shirts, we had to go to the other set.
Yes.
So we're actually on the set that we use in the Comic Historian channel, so ignore all the comic book stuff and the comic book statues. We have a Cthulhu one coming in for you guys.
Ooh. Right.
It's gonna be cool.
Don't we have like an Illuminati chest coming in or something?
I don't know if we'll ever get that.
Okay.
That was like a potentially scam website that I ordered that from.
Oh, okay.
Now they just send me emails stating that I should join the Illuminati for $100.
That's how they get you.
Damn it.
So we talked about this on the last episode, our
Yes.
Alien Artifacts episode.
Yes.
Today we're going to be discussing...
Henges, and not hinges, henges.
I like hinges.
Big stones made of, or big circles made of stones.
Yes.
And before we begin, I do like to kind of offer this disclaimer. We are not experts. We dive into these topics with the information that we can find online and we talk about it.
Yes.
And that's basically the format.
It's supposed to be a fun podcast in which we discuss
Yes.
it. There was a few comments that like, you guys only seem to talk about things that you hate. Now, that you wouldn't believe. I want to clarify that real quick.
That's not true at all.
We spent an entire year doing this show on a different channel.
Yes.
There's a lot of them that we believed, we were made to believe, and things like that.
Yes.
But the first two episodes we put up on Tales of Earth was
Is us like railing against it.
It's railing
It's
against
true.
conspiracies.
I did actually think about that. Yeah.
Any person who just finds Tales of Earth and is joining us for the first time, their first two experiences is us railing on flat Earth and then reptile people.
Oh.
That's true. Totally railing. And Benny like lost his mind with this idea that the reptilians were ancient, came from another dimension, and were considered like angels in the Bible.
Okay.
He like, there was too much to wrap his head around. And he was like, no, I can't get behind this.
Not this one.
Not this one.
No.
So for anybody who is enjoying the show, but you're like, man, those guys are really skeptical, why even do the show?
Well,
go. I have a link to the old playlist.
Yes.
Those episodes are all still up. You can go watch the old ones.
Right. I have two things to say about that. One, you need to approach everything with healthy skepticism. I mean, everything. You need a healthy dose of skepticism, but also an open mind if you're going to end up believing anything. I firmly believe aliens exist. Now, how have we interacted with them in ancient times or today? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, that's debated, but they are out there somewhere. I believe that. Are there secret organizations? Maybe.
That I believe too.
I believe they exist. Is it the Illuminati? Probably not.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, we ended it with, we think they exist, but it couldn't be the Illuminati.
Right.
Because why would you openly promote that you exist?
Yes, exactly.
You're not very secret at that point.
And that's kind of how we approach things. I mean, most of the time we end up believing it in like some aspect or some way, but not to the extreme that most conspiracy theorists take it.
Yes.
You know, I believe that there may be massive caverns in the Earth we haven't discovered yet that host some kind of life, but is the Earth hollow? Probably not.
No.
Yeah. So to some level, I believe some of these things, but not to the extreme.
That's why we do the show, because we like believing some of these things.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So yes, today we are talking about StoneHenge, or the other henges and stone circles around the world.
Which is one that has always fascinated me, because
Yes.
I've never fully understood those to begin with, and I've always been just like, why do these exist?
Right.
Well, I believe,
or why do we question them
Yes.
when it could just be me and Sal are moving some rocks
Right.
10,000 years ago?
Well, I just assumed, well, I don't want to. I don't want to ruin it for you guys, so I'll just wait.
Oh, no. What do you
Well, I
have
was
to
going to say,
Yeah.
I just assumed they were gravestones.
Maybe. Yeah.
But
like a king's burial place.
Yeah. Like just a spot where they buried folk. Like, or it's like it belonged to a
true.
group of people. Like, we buried this group of people. Like,
Yes.
here,
And this is a monument to their memory.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's like we don't like. It was during a time when like people didn't have like names; they had tribes, and like I buried my tribe in this circle or whatever.
That makes sense.
But
That would make sense.
But I really don't know anything else. I know that like you know
Right.
science fiction and movies like to use it as like, oh, it's a magnetic focus point for when the planets align and stuff. I'm like, probably not.
A giant laser is going to shoot out. And
Yes, a blue laser.
yeah,
will shoot
Doctor
up-
Who did something like that.
Oh, that doesn't
where
surprise me.
Stonehenge was actually some like ancient technology or whatever.
Of course.
Yeah. So we're talking about Stonehenge and like henges in general. Apparently there are thousands of stone circles around the world.
Yeah, when you started going over these, I was shocked by that. Why is Stonehenge the more famous?
It's the prettiest.
One of the most intact.
It's the most attacked.
Like no intact.
Yeah. Oh, intact. I was like attacked. People are attacking.
Yeah, people. No,
they get taggers there all the time.
Yeah, they have people on like Inspires watching it.
Yeah. So Stonehenge, I think, is more popular because it's the most intact. It's one of the most aesthetically interesting.
Is it accessible more than the other ones?
It is it's like right off a road.
Oh, cool. Is it?
Yeah, Stonehenge is like right off a road. And so it just gets, I mean, I'm sure there's money in there and it's a big tourist trap.
Sure.
So accessibility is a huge part of that. But we're going to go into what these henges are. I mean, like I said, there are thousands of stone circles around the world. Many, many of which are in England, actually. They're prominent in England, but they're all over the world. And we can't go into all that in 30 minutes. We can't go into everything there is that we could possibly talk about with Stonehenge in 30 minutes. So we're going to try to highlight these things. There is, and I'm just an example of the number of henges in the world. Okay. There are henges in Australia, Britain, Ireland, or Brittany, Channel Islands, England, Northern Ireland. Okay, we just talked about that. Bulgaria, Japan, Poland, Syria. They're literally like every hemisphere.
What's the one in the
stone
US?
circles.
Do we have one?
I believe so. Let me check. I know there is.
10 archaeological mysteries of the U.S.
I do remember coming across
America Stonehenge.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
It's in New Hampshire. We're going.
New Hampshire.
Okay.
So, yeah, they're all over the world, but we're going to focus on a couple here.
Okay.
So, what are the theories around the henges and the significance? The best known as Stonehenge. What are some of the theories you guys? Okay, first off, where is Stonehenge? It's in Salisbury, England.
Oh, right. We talked about
and
that.
It's like
I said, whenever you say Salisbury, don't you think the steak?
Yes, I do every time.
I love the steak.
And it's about like 20 minutes away from Superhenge, which is a really cool name.
What's Superhenge?
It's literally just a much, much bigger circle of stones.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why isn't that one more prominent than Stonehenge?
Because I think most of it's underground.
Superhenge?
Oh, okay.
So they discovered it, through
They
excavation.
excavated it, I see.
There's Woodhenge, which is the same thing, but not stones.
Wait, hold on.
So,
okay,
Can you imagine the guy that names the henges?
Yeah.
It's like, well, there's already a Stonehenge. This is made out of stones. Dude, Superhenge.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to want to come see Superhenge.
Marvelous Henge. And pretty cool henge.
Avenger Henge.
Avenger henge. Yeah. Nice henge. This one's nice. And wood henge. Yeah. So there not only are there areas with stone circles, but there's areas with wooden circles.
Now, is wooden henge or woodhenge essentially just a recreation of the original Stonehenge, or is it its own henge?
It's its own henge.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they're all ancient. And they actually discovered something like 15 more henges underground because they've been buried over time.
Yeah.
In the same area within
That's
like
cool.
a 30-mile radius.
Huh.
And so what are some of the things? I'm going to get into the really interesting stuff. The reasons why people click on this video.
Sure.
What are some of the theories behind the henges? The more fun ones.
Yeah, I've heard that aliens built it.
Yes, that's one.
I've heard that it is like, as I mentioned before, like it's a kind of like magnetic, important place. Like it draws in energy.
Yes.
Healing circle's one that I've heard.
Oh,
yes, healing circle. That's
or in some form religious circle.
Ah,
yes. Yes.
and I've heard that it's like a burial site.
I've also heard that it's somehow related to Stargate SG-1, and it's a portal to Atlantis, and you just walk through. Each of the Stonehenges are portals. We just walk through to various sites. Goes to Atlantis, the backside of the moon, and one goes to Pluto.
So each door is like each arc.
I may have seen that on a sci-fi thing.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I think I know the name.
Yeah. So that's our doorway to Atlantis. That's our doorway to, I don't know, what's another really cool?
One of
Shangri-La.
them brings you to
Shangri-La,
Mist.
yeah.
The computer game.
Yeah.
One of them brings you to Mist. I mean,
Nice.
This is the one where you go to the computer game,
Yep,
and that
you're
one
stuck there
leads to our coffee shop. So,
which is a Starbucks, actually.
Which is a Starbucks,
we were
yeah.
really proud when we got that sponsorship.
you can tell because there's a Starbucks sign on top of the arc.
Yeah.
So one theory, all of this comes from livescience.com. The article is 5 strange theories about Stonehenge. One is a burial place. Stonehenge may have originally been a cemetery for the elite. According to a new study, bone fragments were first exhumed from the Stonehenge site more than a century ago, but archaeologists at the time thought the remains were unimportant and reburied them. Interesting.
These could be super ancient. Ah, man, Sal, I don't know what you're thinking. Just put them back.
Just put them back.
I think this might actually unravel the mystery of this entire area. That's bad for tourism.
Yeah.
Put it back.
Well, that's not the first time that's happened.
Now, British researchers have exhumed more than 50,000 cremated bone fragments from where they were discarded, representing 63 separate individuals from Stonehenge. Their analysis, presented on a BBC 4 documentary on March 10th of whatever year this was written, reveals that the people buried at the site were men and women in equal proportions, with some children as well. The burials occurred in about 3000 BCE, as we would say now, according to study researcher Mike Parker Pearson of the University College London Institute of Archaeology. What's your job? Well, do you have a minute? And the very first stones were brought from Wales at the time to mark the graves. The archaeologists also found a mace head and a bowl. Cool. Possibly used to burn incense, suggesting that the people buried in the graves may have been religious or political elite, according to the Guardian newspaper. So yeah,
Okay, so
overwhelming amount of evidence that it's just a burial site.
that it's a burial site. That it's like those are markers.
And that makes sense to me. I mean, what if it? Okay, what if you're in Salisbury Steak, England?
Yes.
You're an old foreign individual who lives there. I don't know where I'm going with this, but
What is happening right now?
what I'm getting at is, what if
I'm an Englishman who lives there.
There you go. I'm an Englishman who lives in Salisbury Steak. All right, so you're like,
You doing okay, Dan?
I've looked into the history. Those pyramids are pretty cool, but they took decades to make.
Right.
What if we just spend like 6 months pushing some rocks around?
Yeah, we put it just.
Sal, what do you think? Like we could basically have a glorious burial site for you and me.
I think you just offended the people that built it. Pushing some rocks around?
Yeah.
That's what you think?
I mean, there is a little bit of balancing involved. There's some skill.
You ever seen those guys that did the crazy balancing acts?
Yeah.
This is the earliest form of that.
Right.
It was one guy going like, God, and just, all right, nobody touch it.
Like balance artists? Yeah.
Now, so when do they think that Stonehenge was built? Because that might help us.
There's a guess. It's about maybe, I think the earliest is like 4500 BCE.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
A long time ago.
So okay. And what was it they were saying? Like they may have ferried rocks from Wales.
From Wales.
Now, why do you think that they identify them from Wales as opposed to being like indigenous to that area?
Because of the type of stone.
Okay.
Carbon dating.
What is it of a stone?
Basically, it's some kind of blue stone, I think is what they call it. So the rocks were pulled from very, very far away, which I'm sure there was probably some religious
I'm sure. No, you don't bring rocks from out of town to this one random area if you're not doing it for a very specific purpose.
Yes. Sal and I are talking about our future burial site, and Sal's like, well, I mean, we got some sandstone like around the corner.
No, we got to get special imported rock.
Dude, I found these bluestone
in Seattle. We're gonna get those.
But it's in Seattle, so we got to get over there.
Go to Washington and grab it.
And soapstone over by this other location, so we'll just get these and some limestone.
Yeah,
be a really cool
confuse
site.
the hell out of historians. Like,
can you imagine people are going to say 1,000 years from now they're going to be like, "Oh, aliens landed here."
Look at all these crazy rocks. Why are they all from different regions?
There's no way they could have moved it here.
Yeah,
and Sal's over here like, "And heave ho!"
As your brother would say, because we were all just stupid dirt people.
Right.
Yeah.
We were all
looking
at our
at
phones.
Yeah. All right, second theory is a place for healing. Another theory suggests the Stone Age people saw Stonehenge as a place with healing properties. In 2008, archaeologists, they probably mean Gregory, they butchered that name, Wainwright and Timothy Darville reported that a large number of skeletons recovered from around Stonehenge showed signs of illness or injury. The archaeologists, I have some problems with that. Okay, so the archaeologists also reported discovering fragments of the Stonehenge bluestones, the first stones erected at the site that had been chipped away by ancient people, perhaps to use as talismans for protective or healing purposes. So the stones have literally been chipped away at as like this place has healing powers.
Yeah, like rest on the ground, we break off a piece, we rest under your chest.
Isn't that what happened to the Blarney stone?
Oh, the Blarney stone.
Blarney stone.
The one where you can kiss it. Like they had
The
to
Blimey stone. Sorry.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is people used to kiss it for a wish.
Yes. Yeah.
And I believe that they've had to wall it off because people started damaging it over and over and over.
It's I remember it's hard to get to. You need to like hang upside down from off of like a ledge.
Yeah.
In order to get to it. I remember a family member of mine kissed the Blarney Stone about like maybe 10 plus years ago. So it could have been that they walled off since then.
Sure.
But you can actually see, yes, it's been eroded
Well, from
just
all the
by
kissing.
human lips.
Well, yeah, I mean,
thousands of kisses.
Yes, human saliva is very
Corrosive,
acidic. It's very corrosive, very acidic. So yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I mean, but the Anglo-Saxons are not any strangers to believing that rocks have magic abilities that give you like, power. So it could actually be.
I'm actually looking at images of the Blarney Stone, and
it's not very impressive.
no.
Yep.
You have to hang upside down.
You
They
can
have to
see
hold
you can see it fully eroded right there.
Yeah.
I guess I'm having a hard time seeing it.
How do you miss the giant erosion?
Oh, I see it. Okay, I see it. Yeah. That okay.
But it could be a blend of those two things. Like maybe it's a healing area for like the desperately ill.
Right.
And then when you die, they bury you in the ground there.
Yes, exactly.
So you can heal.
So you can heal.
Yeah, it could be like a pet cemetery.
Oh, fun.
You know, like, the ground's sour, and they put you in there.
Yeah.
That's a pet cemetery.
That actually would be a great premise for a movie. Like,
Yeah, or
you
a Stephen King book.
Like Stonehenge has been collecting these like
Oh yeah,
spirits or whatever for
right.
you know.
Yeah, and if you
anyway.
bury someone at Stonehenge, they'll like come back, but changed.
But changed. Oh no. All right, number 3, a soundscape. Or perhaps Stonehenge's circular construction was created to mimic a sound illusion. That's the theory of Stephen Waller, a researcher in archaeoacoustics. Waller says that if two pipers were to play their instruments in a field, a listener would notice a strange effect in certain spots. The sound waves from the dual pipes would cancel each other out, creating quiet spots. The stones of Stonehenge create a similar effect, except with stones, really, rather than competing sound waves blocking sound. Waller reported in 2012 at the annual meeting of the American Association for the Advancement of Science Legends. Associated with Stonehenge also reference pipers, Waller said, and prehistoric circles are traditionally known as piper stones. Oh, I did not know that. Waller's theory is speculative, but other researchers have confirmed that Stonehenge had amazing acoustics.
Huh. I think that's
I think everyone said that. You've been there, amazing.
But the acoustics are just sweet, man. We should have a concert here.
Yeah, so it was just a concert hall.
Yeah,
There's a concert hall, yeah.
The Who.
So
played.
Sal, now that I've made my burial site, it looks like the acoustics are amazing.
Yeah.
And we spent all this time getting this blue stout over here.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's put a concert on?
Let's wail and then die. That's interesting. I feel like it could be either. I mean, like this is just suspicion, but like
Sure.
that maybe it was built for like acoustic amplification, or maybe if you put stones in a circle, it just happens to also bounce sound.
Oh, yeah.
Like like anything.
I'm going to go with our Twitch chat on this one. It is a Lazarus pit.
Oh, that would be dope.
that would be amazing.
But they found the bones, though. You see, they would have sunk to the.
Well,
bottom.
it drowned. It dried up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was on a hill. Isn't it like
No.
no?
No, it's pretty flat.
It's just a
ground.
flat plain.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So number 4 is a celestial observatory. No matter why it was built, Stonehenge may have been constructed with the sun in mind. One avenue connecting the monument with the nearby river Avon aligns with the sun on the winter solstice. Archaeological evidence reveals that pigs were slaughtered at Stonehenge in December and January, suggesting possible celebrations or rituals at the monument around the winter solstice. The site also faces the summer solstice sunrise, and both summer and winter solstices are still celebrated there today.
I wonder if you have to get a permit to celebrate anything at Stonehenge. Like, is it a national park?
So yeah, or like it's like
I'm looking at
reserving-
images of it as a park.
right.
And it's actually walled off now. You can't get in there, it looks like.
That sucks.
Yeah.
You have to get special access with a tour
Oh, I believe
to
it.
go
I
into
believe
the
it.
site.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, you don't want any. Just
Yeah, you don't want any
anybody, like-
randos. Yeah, you want
Midnight, Sal and I are
So-
drunk.
Yeah.
Shh.
You don't want
TWP was here.
you don't want British punkers showing up and
No.
writing about just you know.
Yeah. You don't want to call like a park manager and say, "Hey, you know, I was thinking of like
It's 130 euros a person to go in.
Okay,
It's too much.
that's worth it. That would totally. Yeah, that's worth it. Yeah, you can't like reserve it like you could like a picnic.
Right, like the gazebo.
Yeah,
in
like
town.
a gazebo. Yeah.
Holy crap, it's a 9.5-hour tour.
Ugh.
Why?
Isn't it one circle of stones?
It's not that big.
It's not
Yeah.
that big.
A 9
Or
and a-
5.5 if you want to go from one. Like it says from Bath or Salisbury. So I'm assuming
from where you
maybe
start.
you load up in the
Yeah,
bus and
that
you,
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else can I tell you about Stonehenge? Well, I guess my cousin was here once, and Number 5, a team building exercise. This is my favorite.
I've seen that a few times.
Or perhaps Stonehenge was something like an ancient team building exercise. According to the University College London's Pearson, the beginning of the site's construction coincides with a time of increased unity among the Neolithic people of Britain, perhaps inspired by the natural flow of the landscape, which seems to connect summer solstice sunrise and winter solstice sunset. These ancient people may have banded together to build the monument, Pearson suggests in June 2012. Quote, Stonehenge itself was a massive undertaking requiring the labor of thousands to move stones from as far away as West Wales, shaping them and erecting them. He said in a statement, just the work itself, requiring everything literally to pull together, would have been an act of unification, as far as we know.
So basically, what they're not like a repeating team building exercise. It was like, hey team, we're gonna build this.
Yeah.
And people are gonna for centuries try to guess what we did.
Right.
And it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be a great
We're gonna be a
prank.
good team exercise.
Yeah,
Right.
John over here is trying to spread the flat Earth theory. Like that's gonna be a great prank.
Yeah.
But we're gonna build a henge.
Yeah, we're building the henge. We're on the henge duty.
Yeah, we're on henge duty.
All right, Gary.
Okay. What?
I looked it up. For only $1,500 a person, we can fly to Salisbury, England, and go to Stonehenge.
Hey, why not?
All right,
you
next
can-
week.
Record an
Yeah.
episode there.
Absolutely.
The acoustics are fantastic.
That's how you're coming.
Oh, well, all right.
You want?
All right.
Can you imagine, hold on.
those-
Can you imagine telling your
those-
wife, "Hey, what are you doing next? I'm apparently flying to Stonehenge."
I'm going to Stonehenge to talk about what it might be.
You mean like thousands of other people have done?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going to figure it. I'm going to crack
But
it.
I'm getting a free flight to England, so
Yeah, so
I figured,
fine.
you know, I'll eat their English breakfast. And
Oh, I've
I'll
been
see
to
if the
England.
tea's the same there.
I had the most boring time in England. I got to tell you, I went with the most boring person.
Gary?
No, much more boring, and it was not a great time. So
So those are like the grounded theories.
okay. Oh no, there's more. There's like off the wall.
Well, yeah, you got the
Oh, yeah.
magnetic pulsing, the aliens,
Yes.
the doorways
Oh,
to
right,
escape.
that's what we talked
The
about.
three biggest ones are aliens.
Sure.
Of course.
Because humans couldn't possibly lift things above their heads without fulcrum.
So we were
technology.
discussing this
yeah.
last week in the Ancient Aliens episode.
Yeah.
Where like what blew my mind on that one was the belief that it was aliens because we couldn't have done it.
Yes.
Oh, it was
And I'm like,
impossible.
why? Like we had math, we had physics, we had all these things
right.
back in those days
Yeah.
that we just lost.
Even if you couldn't, like as a civilization, you couldn't quantify what you knew and were doing.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't give it names or numbers.
Yeah.
You still knew what you were doing.
Right.
Humanity domesticated animals.
Yes. Like
They're good.
I don't know the math and the physics and the biology of jumping from one spot to another, but I can do it.
Right.
You
For the
know.
record, I've played Civilization 6. I know the technology path and when they learned these things. So
Yeah, exactly. So,
animal husbandry is like the first thing you learn.
animal husbandry.
Yeah. It's
Breeding animals.
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I figured that's where you're going. I thought maybe you're because I
was using the actual
goat
term.
thing with
Oh, like
terminology.
bestiality.
Yeah, no. Well, when he played Assassin's Creed, he like
I had sex with a goat.
yes. That's where I thought you
that
were
a
going
function?
with that.
No,
That-
you get an option.
Like press F to mess with goats.
No, you walk in and there's this guy that's like, "Do you want to sleep with me?" And then you hear him, "Ah," and then the guy goes, "Oh, is that a goat in the back?" And he goes, "Yes, it'll be fun." And I hit yes.
Cool.
So that's where I thought you were going with that. We're gonna get back on track. That was partially
Why
my
is
fault. That was
why is
partially
your
my fault.
head going there?
Because it's you. So, aliens is one, and we're going
Okay.
to talk about these a little bit.
Hold on, Gary. How much do you love the Illuminati?
I love, a lot.
Yeah,
let's do this.
So we had a sub. So what we say is, Chris L82 has subscribed, Sal, and he
Yes.
is a member of the Illuminati now. So I love the Illuminati. Let's try it with Sal.
Me
now.
too. Okay, we'll do it.
Okay.
Ready, 3, 2, 1. I love the Illuminati. You get the shirt now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it now.
Okay, so aliens is one.
Okay.
Giants is another.
Giants.
Giants.
Yeah, I mean, like
Yes.
the Bible said they were giants.
Yes.
I can believe that actually. That they
But
were.
as I understand it, they also like thought that giants were like people who were like 5'6". So. But
well,
anyway,
I mean, yes, the average height has changed.
here's the
over
thing.
time.
If
So-
they like,
So would I be a giant back in the day?
Yes.
Actually, you would. Yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
you would have been Goliath.
Yeah, you
I
would've
feel
been huge.
like if
Okay.
they, if
For the record, don't Google search real life giants.
no, because it's
Oh.
obviously not real.
Yeah.
The thing about the giants theory is they excavated for bones. there'd be some pretty big bones in there
Yeah,
if they were
yeah.
giants.
Yes. Well, so people, archaeologists, paleontologists have unearthed
Giant bones?
large people,
Oh, cool.
but not on the scale of like fantasy.
No, just
being
like
able to lift-
6 to 7
Yes.
feet.
Yeah, not being able to
basically
feet.
Jason Momoa.
Yeah, 8
Right.
feet, 9 feet sometimes.
Okay.
They were big people.
Right,
And
sure.
Some of them kind of moved in clans. They moved in groups.
Yeah.
It's just genetics.
Sure, that makes
like
sense.
we're just a big group of people.
Yeah.
And, it's like a very tall man has a very likely chance of spawning
Tall people.
A tall people.
You know
Yeah.
what? I got a
So-
great example right here.
What?
And I'll give the, and what's his face? Look at this image too, of a giant. Shaq with John Cena. John Cena's already tall, if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
And Shaq
Shaq
next to him
is-
makes John Cena look tiny.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Shaq is a giant.
Yes. He would have. Yes. if
He would have built Stonehenge all by himself.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
By
then
himself.
The third.
So guys, you gotta give me a hand over here.
Yeah.
So aliens, giants.
Okay.
And magic.
Okay.
That
King Arthur.
Stonehenge-
King Arthur. Please
Okay.
tell me King Arthur.
King Arthur's involved with the giants.
Okay.
Okay. So he's with the giant clan. Oh. He's in that group of people.
Was it like the King Arthur like commanded a clan of giants?
No. The theory is that giants helped Merlin build Stonehenge.
So
I guess for King Arthur.
Okay.
But the last one is magic. That Stonehenge and all the other henges and sacred sites and churches and all this other stuff, they lay on what's called ley lines.
Yes, ley lines.
Yes.
Can you explain ley lines a little bit?
So
I'm
in
actually
Final
gonna go
Fantasy
into that, yeah.
14,
Okay, good.
when you drop ley lines, it boosts your black magic, and you don't leave it for 30 seconds, regardless of what hits you.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe what Gary says.
Actually, a ley line is a starship in Outlaw Star. Yeah. That's
I like mine
way
better.
back. Okay. So, we'll talk about aliens for a minute.
Sure.
How plausible is that? What do you guys think? What comes
So,
to
okay.
mind?
You gotta believe.
I love your response. No.
No, well, because aliens. Well, if aliens built Stonehenge, then it means that we have been visited by aliens. And if you believe that aliens have visited us before,
Yes,
you
yes.
have to buy that theory first. So it's actually two theories in one.
Sure.
And I
Okay.
don't believe that aliens have been here before.
See, I
Right.
actually disagree with you.
Okay.
See, Gary and I both believe in aliens.
Yes.
And I like to support the theory that we are late to the party. Aliens are pretty much non-existent at this point. They've all gone extinct. They're not around anymore, and we are late to
Yes.
the galactic party.
Okay.
So aliens have potentially come to the planet, and they're the last of their species looking for a new home or whatever
Okay.
they're doing. But they do exist out there. Now,
Yes.
I don't believe the aliens had anything to do with Stonehenge.
Okay.
Because as we were talking about with ancient artifacts last week, or Monday actually, when we were talking about it, the big problem with aliens having built the pyramids or Stonehenge or things like that is how would you keep everyone quiet?
Yeah, why are there no hieroglyphs about aliens?
About aliens,
Oh, yeah.
why don't we have
why
like,
do they give
some-
why do they give the credit to the slaves?
we have mythology
Yeah.
of gods like Zeus
Yes.
and Hercules and the Odyssey
Right.
that have survived eons
Yes,
here.
that's
Not
true.
eons, but
Like
they've
a long
survived-
time.
they've- centuries.
Thousands of years.
Centuries,
millennia.
thousands of years, millennia. But we have not even like, oh man, Salisbury's got a rumor that goes around of like the aliens that
Right.
came down and you know.
Well, I mean, there are like mythologies about the sky people, or these beings who descended from the sky and they thought they were gods. I mean, all over the world you find in religious texts and mythology,
Yeah.
sky people basically, people who descend from outside and give us knowledge and wisdom and things like this. So now that is essentially the foundation of the ancient alien theory.
Right.
Is that these stories do permeate human culture around the world.
Gotcha.
Now, there's nothing to back it up. You know, and if they did give us their knowledge, then it took us a really long time to implement it,
Yeah.
or at least mature it.
Right.
And they obviously, I don't know. You know,
Yeah.
there are 100,000 theories when it comes to ancient aliens and how they influenced us and all of this.
Sure.
So, but you don't think it's possible?
No, I don't think so. I think because I don't believe that like aliens built the pyramids.
No.
You know, like,
Yeah.
and if aliens built the pyramids, then they're not making Stonehenge. Like
Yeah.
Stonehenge ain't a pyramid. You know,
No.
it takes longer. It's more
No,
effort. It's more
exactly.
intensive.
Yes.
Stonehenge is impressive.
Stonehenge, by comparison, is like a Sunday project.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like it's listen, it's a feat of achievement.
Yes.
But I think it's a human achievement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Teacher Gary,
Yes. What's up?
they solved Stonehenge about a month ago.
Did they
What?
really? So in all my searching, none of this came
None
up.
of that came up.
It's on Forbes.
It's on
What?
Forbes. Tell us, Benny.
Yeah.
New data reveals the human ingenuity that built Stonehenge.
Great.
So Parker Peterson's excavations of some location, documenting long-term continuous use of quarries from as early as the 6th millennium BC to as recent as the 1800s AD.
Okay. Farmers
sought the bluestones to use as fence posts. The first bluestones were erected at Stonehenge between 3000 and 2920 BC, and the archaeological excavations revealed.
Oh, so they changed the dates for that.
Yeah.
Even.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and the archaeological excavations revealed that the site was an active quarry during this period.
Oh, so the actual site was a quarry.
So the site was a quarry for the bluestone.
Okay, so they weren't pulled from Wales necessarily.
So it's just, well, then why are they in that formation? Is it just as an advertisement? You can get your bluestones here.
I guess that
It was some guys had a big sign, get them half off.
just right off the road. I mean,
Right,
just-
that's
yeah.
true. Like, listen, if you need bluestone, which you do for your quarries, you will need
Yeah.
to know where to get them, and we don't have sign technology apparently, so we're just going to stack them in a ornate circular.
What if they
formation.
just built as they're building?
Right.
So-
It could be that it was actually they built like they stacked them that way, and then they put wood and straw around them and built an actual like hut or like a merchant place.
The ancient stonesmiths faced a challenge. Delarite was incredibly hard material, requiring a great deal of effort to remove, and at the same time, they did not want to damage the smooth surface of the natural pillars. To meet this challenge, the ancient quarry workers determined that if they used a softer mudstone or sandstone wedges, several of which are found at Parker Pearson's excavations, they could hammer these wedges into natural joints within the dolerite to separate the pillars and remove them with minimal damage.
Okay.
Um,
Interesting.
So it's way less interesting.
Yeah.
Well, no, we were basically trying to prove exactly this.
Yeah.
That we
So
did it.
they,
Right,
they
the human
basically
aliens.
took this test and
Yes.
created. Transported pillars from Wales to Salisbury
Okay.
to a casual observer in Stonehenge. The reality is, however, that moving giant stones is much simpler than we might think. 2016, archaeologist Barney Harris conducted an experiment where volunteers helped move massive stone blocks in Gordon Square, London. The experiment demonstrated that a 1-ton block could be moved about a mile an hour with only 10 people pulling it.
Oh, wow.
And this is using all ancient technology, and they actually have images of it right here.
Oh yeah, they did one of the.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
cool.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
And they moved these. Furthermore,
Yeah.
last year during a spring equinox, the organization English Heritage invited local school children to visit Stonehenge to celebrate the site's creators. As a part of the celebration, the students were able to move and raise a 4-ton monolith using only ropes and rollers.
Wow. That's impressive.
In short, if volunteers and school children can move and erect monoliths, then we have no need for space aliens or magic to explain the success of our ancestors.
Of course not. Then, whatever.
So it doesn't fully explain what we think it was.
No.
No, it doesn't
No, it
explain,
doesn't explain
what it was.
the purpose, but we do know the origins.
Yes.
We do know how it got there and
Yes.
how it's feasible as humans.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what's the deal?
What's the point?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it wasn't giants, it wasn't aliens.
Because as archaeological sites, they were in different locations. How did they get
Right.
the bluestones here?
Yeah.
This is how they did
Yeah, they did it by
Now-
rolling them across
Right.
a piece of wood.
But
yeah.
now the question is the purpose.
Yes, what's the point?
What was the purpose? Magic may be one of the purposes, at least
Okay.
based on ancient belief.
Sure.
If you believe in these things called ley lines, which is actually a new idea. It's not an ancient idea.
No.
This, according to LifeScience.com, Philip Carr-Gomm and Richard Haygate described the origin of ley lines in their, quote, book of...
I'd also like to let you know that on February 23rd, 2019, there's breaking news of aliens landing at Stonehenge. I'm going to click to see if it's true.
Oh, I have a virus.
I hate to break this to you, Benny, but yeah.
I think we would have heard about it.
In their quote, this is the title of the book, Book of English Magic. Alfred Watkins, a landscape photographer in Herefordshire, noticed that the ancient site seemed to be aligned with others nearby. His idea was that our ancestors built and used prominent features in the landscape as navigation points. These features included prehistoric standing stones and stone circles, barrows and mounds, hills, forts, and earthworks, ancient moats, old pre-Reformation churches, old crossroads and fords, prominent hilltops, and fragments of old straight tracks. So basically, signs of civilization all line up with something. Okay, so...
I'd like to let you know this is the ultimate clickbait title.
What is it?
So the title is Breaking News, Aliens Land at Stonehenge.
Yeah.
The first opening line, nope, not outer space aliens, but aliens to the countryside. It's Heather Satley and our roving reporter, Liz Scott.
Oh, wow. That is pretty bad.
What a monster.
Yeah. Where was I? Watkins went on.
I felt you guys needed to have the closure to the alien story.
Because I was on the edge of my seat. Watkins went on to suggest that the lines connecting these ancient sites represented old trackways or routes that were followed in prehistoric times for the purposes of trade or religious rites. And in 1921, he coined the term ley lines. So the term ley lines is new.
Final Fantasy 14 for at least 6 years.
Describe these alignments. Watkins himself did not believe that there was any magical or mystical significance to ley lines. So this concept of ley lines, magic connecting these sites, is new.
Right.
It is not ancient.
No.
There are no ancient roots for it.
Nope.
I actually found that kind of surprising because I've heard ley lines used quite a bit when discussing magic.
Well, new in terms of like it's newer than StoneHenge.
Yes.
But older than us. Like as I understand it,
Right.
like I've heard ley lines being used in like the 80s.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, like the concept of ley lines is something that's not new to us, but it is new
right.
in terms of historical significance.
Yeah. However, the authors note, and this is what he says here, the idea that there is a hidden network of energy lines across the Earth fired the imagination of burgeoning New Age movement, and dowsers. Dowsers are people who like find water with sticks.
Oh yeah. Okay.
In particular, became keen on detecting lays with dowsing. So, magic, no go.
Nope.
Not giants.
Well, I mean, we got the answer as to how it got there.
Yes, exactly.
I know we're just having fun with
what I
this.
mean is like the purpose of it.
Right, like maybe
Okay.
it's
I was
built
like,
on a ley
for the
line.
record,
Right.
that's a boring answer. I like the idea that aliens did it.
Oh sure.
Well, and that's the point of this show, I think.
Oh, no, it is.
Is that we love the ideas behind these conspiracies.
Oh, we do. But
Like, I would love to think that aliens, or maybe not love to think that aliens essentially built ancient civilization, but there's just no evidence for it. And that's where I guess where people are like kind of telling us that we're bashing on these concepts. But the evidence doesn't support most of the concepts.
No.
You know, when you really dig into it and you don't
well,
just...
we do enjoy some of the concepts to the point where we actually believe them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, no, the problem is the actual answer, which apparently has now been discovered, is
Right.
boring.
Yeah.
Magic and giants and aliens are fun.
Well,
and we still don't know what was there. But I like the idea that it really was like, come on down to Crazy Jim's.
Yeah, Crazy Jim's
Bluestones Emporium and Warehouse. Pick it up.
Everything needs to sell.
You're walking by with your goat, and he's just like, I'll trade you the goat for Bluestone.
Dude, how am I going to even get there? Oh, school children could get it to you.
School children, but don't worry. We've got aliens, and they're going to lift them up and bring them.
Yeah. We put the Giants on hold for a while because, well, they're
getting wore out.
Yeah, they're getting wore out. They're tired.
But the aliens are pitch hitting for them. So.
And we're recharging our mana bar, so.
And now the question needs to be asked, and this is where people will point to monuments and henges and stone circles and pyramids and stuff around the world and say, well, how come these things exist around the world?
Right.
Well, a pyramid shape or a triangle it's a common shape.
Yes.
It's not that hard to conceive of. Neither is a circle. And then you look at the concept of the idea of the shape of a circle. It doesn't take a mathematician to come up with something like a circle.
Yes.
And it doesn't take a genius to think like
Google
I
when
can
was the
use
circle
I can use stones or rocks. It's a free resource to make a circle.
Yes.
You know, and maybe there's some religious significance to that.
Sure.
Or it's a fun project. What?
Wheels were invented in 3500 BC.
Okay.
StoneHenge could have been invented before then.
Yeah.
Well, I think the concept of a circle exists in
Why
nature.
are you talking about wheels?
Because how do you think that's circles invented? It's a wheel.
What? What I'm saying
I might be
is, if
tired.
we're talking about stone circles around the world, it's not signs of aliens. It's a sign that
When was
humans
circle
have basic
invented?
concepts of geometry.
Right.
And they're not afraid to use free resources like rocks.
Exactly. Yeah. If it was made of jewels, it would be something. But
Yes.
The man who invented pi was in 1706. It was a little-known mathematics teacher named William Jones. That doesn't make any sense.
Why are you talking about this? Like pi, the mathematics.
Yes.
I looked up when was circle created.
When was circle?
how was Babby formed?
Okay, we've gone off the
Hold on,
rails.
I found more
This
information.
is the sign that the show needs to end.
No. So A circle derives from Greek's word meaning hoop or ring, and the origin for the words circus and circuit are closely related.
Okay.
The circle has been known since the beginning of recorded history. God damn it.
There you go.
Yes, exactly. We have found cave paintings from prehistory. I mean, I think what's one of the oldest cave paintings? I think Lascaux, France. I mean, it's like what, 50,000?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
no.
old.
Humanity's been around for a while.
Humanity's been around for a while. And
I was
you'll-
really
and
hoping it
you'll
was going to
find
be like,
circles.
we only invented it in 5000 BC.
No,
Yes, exactly.
Before then, squares everywhere.
Yeah, before then.
Yeah, but the conceit is that like Stonehenge is if you're dealing with a group of people
Yes.
who were either fighting for their own survival,
Right.
or at the very least were a post-agricultural society.
Mm-hmm.
They had lots of time on their hands, and they had lots of free, abundant resources because it was just rocks and grass.
Yeah, exactly.
So they built this circle.
Yeah.
Who knows why?
Maybe it was just a fun hangout.
I
spot.
have
Could have
my own
been just a
theory.
place like I just want to chill here, and it could have been just an achievement.
This is my area.
Yeah,
It was
Did
the
you
first
stay
man
in
cave.
yours?
right. It's the
Yeah.
first man cave.
The first man cave, yeah. The
Here-
first outdoor
here-
man cave.
Here's my theory, though, and we can end on this one.
Sure.
It was supposed to be like a fort or something, and they just got that far and said, nah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other question, though, too, is like we had houses, we had castles,
Right.
we had buildings. You know, you look around the world, I mean, the idea of just stacking a few stones in a field, not that like.
I was like, what
wild.
is
very
Stonehenge
impressive.
at the
It's
end
not
of the day?
very
Like, we brought in
impressive.
somebody from the past, brought him here, and he's like, yeah, we were going to build the castle here, but we decided a few
Right.
miles that way was better.
Exactly.
That's all it was.
We didn't value the people who built it, so we
Yes.
just made them do it again someplace closer to
Exactly.
water.
Yes.
Like-
someplace closer to water.
Like really, like
so
it's
they
just
can drink.
Right. It's just
Yeah.
a simple matter of like, no, well, we're trying to pull the cows and they won't move, so we're just gonna
Yeah.
build the castle closer to them.
So there you go. And one of my
Here's a small
favorite lines from the show Ancient Aliens, and I watched this unfold in all of its glory, was they were talking about StoneHenge, and they said, well, there's one large, very large circle of stones, you know, that we've discovered, and then it could stand to reason that they also had at some point more circles within that circle. And then it also stands to reason that it could have had like a roof and walls. And then and then of course what this means, and they literally said this,
Yeah.
of course what this means is that it could have been an ancient alien spaceport.
Oh, naturally.
Naturally.
That's the first thing I think of, not a house.
Exactly.
or a
Well,
barn.
the Stonehenge at one point had wood, but over the years, it's
That's what I'm
just.
saying, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it was stone, that stays forever, that's the foundation. And then we
Yes.
just put, you know, degradable
Yeah.
wood and straw.
Yeah, everything
around
else just eroded
it.
over
or,
time.
Or it burned.
Exactly.
They pissed off a neighbor and they burned the place down.
Or
All
the
that was left-
aliens got tired of it and left. Come
Yeah.
on, Sal,
Actually,
play
yeah.
with us here.
You know, just spitballing, it could have been just a place
But
where
my-
people congregated.
Yes.
And like that's why there's so many bones.
Right.
You know?
And that's
My-
why they
my-
had the stones there, because like if you're in a flat plain, you're like, hey man, I'll meet you at the giant stone monument over there.
Right.
What's it for? We just put it there so you know where to go.
It's just a marker.
My favorite part of that was the animation.
Oh,
So they literally animated the circle and then the extra circles and then the roof. And then suddenly it's this like super futuristic spaceport with like spaceships all over the
No.
place and like steel buildings.
Right.
And I was
Why
like,
wouldn't they use their like transparent aluminum and their their Duracrete?
Right.
Why go with bluestone?
I know.
Like what?
Because as Andy said in our last episode, because advanced aliens, who can travel across the universe,
Yes.
can't land on grass.
No.
It's impossible.
Right.
So they get the local people to build them, a
port.
a landing pad made of stone and straw.
Sure.
So, any final thoughts?
I love the. I do wish I could know what Stonehenge was for, or at least what's its
That's the
intention.
mystery.
Because there's also this:
Yes.
what if it was for aliens? What
if it
if
was?
ancient man built this as a signal to the aliens, and that's what it was
It's
for?
like as a monument for them.
Yeah, it was a monument. It could have been anything, and I love
Yes,
that
exactly.
concept.
Yeah.
I was never that fascinated with how did it get there.
Oh, no.
Because even though we've now apparently had to wait until 2019 to prove it, I never was like, the Egyptians,
Yeah.
they moved big blocks, but
Exactly.
the Englishmen couldn't, of
Right,
course
exactly.
not.
Yeah. And I would love to have a conversation with some of those ancient Englishmen and ask them, like, so you get like a skeptic scientist and then a conspiracy theorists like talking to this ancient Englishman, and the scientist is like, "Hey, so how was this built?" And he explains it, and the scientist is like, "Aha! I told you it was humans." And then the skeptic is like, "Well, what'd you build it for?" And they say, "Well, we built it for the aliens, of course." And you're like,
So they use science to build it for the aliens.
Right.
Yes. Humans built it for the aliens. That is a great idea.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I mean, even back in like Greek and Roman, they praised the stars. They thought there was things out there. They didn't think aliens. They thought gods. But
yeah. I mean, you translate high concepts like that to your current understanding.
Yes.
Whatever it is, and so.
What do you think, Sal? What do you think of Stonehenge?
I think it's a site that was like of some significance for ritualistic purposes.
Sure.
Whether that, I don't mean like dancing and sacrifice. I think it's just this is where we either bury our dead, or we help, or we cure our sick, or we feast when it's the solstice or whatever. But I think it was simply a site for early English people to gather.
Yes.
And nothing more.
Okay.
I want to believe in aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think there's more impressive stuff for them to lay claim to than this rock circle.
Than the English countryside.
Right.
We really just wanted to see that grass that we couldn't land on. We were fascinated with it.
It is pretty.
It clogs up the engines. So.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess my opinion is last. So
please.
I think it was built by humans for human purposes. Again, I'm not saying I don't believe aliens exist, because I do. But I would also really like to think that it was Big Al's Bluestone Emporium.
Yeah.
And that was just his storefront.
This is the site.
The reason why there's nothing else there is he sold it all. He was amazing at his job.
Yeah. And then he moved on.
He was very effective. It worked.
It worked very well. Because he traveled the world and built other henges.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, it worked so well for this bluestone. Why not wood?
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Conspiracy Cast right here at Tales of Earth. I want to answer one question we get asked quite a bit.
Okay.
Why do we call it Conspirament? Conspirament is the name we want to call the show,
Yes.
but it doesn't work for the YouTube algorithm.
Exactly.
So the public title is Conspiracy Cast, but interior, all of you fans, all of
Conspirament.
you viewers, you know it as Conspirament. If you are interested in a I Love the Illuminati shirt, I'll give you the link down below.
Yep.
And don't forget to join us next week for the next episode of Conspirament.
Where can you find us, Benny?
They're watching this on Tales of Earth.
No, I know.
Live on twitch.tv/TalesOfAMonster
Okay.
on Mondays at 2 p.m. and at patreon.com/comicstorian with everything else.
Great.
Conspirament.
Thank you.